Hello everyone. So it's been a little while since I made a video. I've got a bunch of videos planned in my head. I just haven't been able to make them. It's been kind of busy. It's been hard for me to record at the time that I normally record at. Anyway, I wanted to make this video though because today was the 5th anniversary Noble Rekkids kind of event, down the road over at Noble Rekkids. Met up with Dave and Kendall and the Zonk Man, and then special guest Chance, concert buddy, flew into town, and it was nice to meet him. Really good to meet him. So yeah, we had a really nice time. Everybody had a successful dig. Found some records. Yeah, you know the drill. You know how this goes. Real quick though, I wanted to take a minute here off the top. A few people have reached out to me because they know that I live in North Carolina, but they're maybe just not familiar with the geography of the state. So I just want to take a minute here to talk about what's happened here in the state of North Carolina specifically, but also just the southeast with the storm, with Hurricane Helene that came through. I'm going to put chapters in this video. If you don't want to listen to this, that's fine. You can skip on and watch me talk about records. That's fine. But I feel like I kind of need to do this. So bear with me. Hurricane Helene came through the area. Major impacts in Florida and Georgia and North Carolina and South Carolina and Tennessee and parts of Virginia, and it was a massive storm. A lot of damage, a lot of severe damage in parts of Florida and southern Georgia, and here the mountains of North Carolina specifically. Charlotte was luckily not impacted that greatly. My house, we lost power for maybe a little over 24 hours. People in this part of the state, if they lived near a lake, they saw some flooding. Some areas around lakes had to evacuate, and there was some damage there. Maybe you're unlucky, a tree might have fallen on your house, something like that. My parents live in Greenville, South Carolina, which is a little bit, about 2 hours south of here, west of here. That's also where Eric Weinbender lives. Some of you that know him might have seen some of his posts on Instagram. My parents lost power for several days. My brother was lucky, didn't lose it for very long. I think Eric's power is still out. So there's still like a lot of areas there in Greenville that are struggling to kind of get back to normal. Now, the mountains west of us greatly impacted. And I think one thing that has to be understood for those of you that don't live either in this country or even in this part of the country is the mountains never see anything like this. There is flooding and things like that from time to time, right? But never this amount of flooding with these types of winds. And this was like a 100-year level event. It's a Katrina level disaster. For those of you that remember Hurricane Katrina and what it did to the Gulf Coast and New Orleans in particular, the city of New Orleans. So my wife and I have a pretty big connection to the mountain areas. She went to App State, which is in Boone, North Carolina, and graduated from there. And then eventually after we met, we would go there a lot, traveling and, when we dated and stuff. And then we ended up getting married in that area in a little town called Valley Crucis. And our anniversary was on the 28th of September. And we're, having pretty mixed emotions that day because we think of that area fondly, obviously, and our marriage there was a wonderful weekend with friends and family, and still one of the best times of our life. And to think that that part of the state was underwater and not knowing when we would ever be able to go back there. But then also just knowing the people of that area and how much they love that area and how attached they are to it, and that their homes are just destroyed, their livelihoods destroyed. And I mean, guys, there's some towns that are just completely wiped off the map. They'll never bounce back. Some areas like Asheville saw a ton of damage, and it was horrific. It was underwater for 2-3 days, at least. And it'll bounce back because there's money there. It's a major tourism center for the state of North Carolina. Even the towns of Boone and Blowing Rock, I think they'll be all right. They'll get back on their feet quicker than even some of us might even expect, right? But all these other towns in between those two areas in the western part of the state, these smaller towns, yeah, some of them might never bounce back. So I don't know. I just felt like I needed to talk about it. I don't have a wide range of viewership. I don't get a lot of views or clicks or anything. I'm not really gonna spread the word that much from here. And I know that finally the news is kind of talking about this at a certain level. It took a while for it to really get out there, which was kind of disappointing. But I'm going to leave some links down in the description. If you can, if you have the means, click on those links, donate to help, send money into these towns. There's a lot of really good work being done by local groups, local people, local boots on the ground that are doing a lot of great things for their areas. The federal aid will come in. All of that will happen. But right now, there's still people being searched for and rescued and pulled out of their areas. It's a mess. It's an absolute mess, an absolute tragedy. So yeah, I just felt like I needed to address that. And awkward transition. Now let's talk about buying records and shit. Anyway, so 5th anniversary of Nova Records. There was a little bit of a line out front. Dave got there around 4:30 and 5, somewhere around between 4:30 and 5, I think, and said that there were 4 or 5 people in front of him. Chance and Kendall being 2 of those people. I showed up about 4 hours later, probably around 8:45, something like that, and there were only maybe 6 to 7 people between me and Dave. So, hey, Anyway, there were some things that were going to be on the wall that I had my mind on. I at least wanted to kind of see what the sticker was going to be. So one of the things that I saw in his flip bin video was one that I kind of figured I would probably get my hands on compared to what most people there were looking for. This is the original press of The Falls Perverted by Language from 1983. It's on Rough Trade. I've actually stumbled upon a couple of fall records this year in the bins, in the used bins. And that's not a normal thing. I've been holding on to one basically record by The Fall for years and have struggled to add to that one lonely record from the discography. And now I'm sitting at 3. There was one that I saw and I passed on because of the price, but yeah, so really, really stoked to find this. This was a bit of a surprise. It might not have even been part of the newer drop. It might have just been in there and I didn't realize it. But this is Super Chunks Incidental Music, 1991 and 1995. It's on Merge, and it's a 1995 press. It's been reissued since, but to see an original press, pretty rare thing, even for the state of North Carolina. So yeah, stoked to get this one, add it to the Super Chunk collection. I need to do a Super Chunk video at some point here soon. Walking around those bins, trying to like get in those bins, like a bunch of people just like crowded around these bins in the front, and we're all like going around in a circle like this, kind of inching around, you know, in line. But anyway, there was this kid that just came right up in. I mean, he was like in my area, like while I'm, you know, and everybody else on either side of me is just kind of, you know, you're waiting. You're not reaching over each other as much, right? And I've never done this before. I even kind of shocked myself. I like literally moved him. I just grabbed, I like pushed him like to my left to get around him. Like, it was really annoying. It was really annoying. But anyway, back to records that I found. Kraftwerk's Radioactivity. This is on the Capitol Purple labels. So it's not like a first press, but I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that Capitol Purple labels were like a late 70s thing. And this came out in 75, so it could be, you know, 78, 79 repress. But yeah, cool to add that to my Kraftwerk discography. And then this one was really cool. And a guy that was right beside me, a different guy, not the kid that I moved, nicer guy, more polite guy, said that he almost picked this up, but he had a reissue and it just, you know, didn't feel like he needed it. So I was happy to grab it as a sealed copy of, the name is Bootsy Baby, Bootsy Collins. I believe it's his second record, 1977, I believe. Some nice funk there, right? Classic. And last but not least, this was the one off the wall. There were 3 that were going to be up on the wall that I was considering. Chance got one of them, and I'm glad he did because I wasn't going to pay that price for it. There were 2 others. There was a original or early pressing of Satori, Flower Traveling Band, and it had a good price on it, and I was about to get it, and this guy like grabbed it. I thought he was going to put it back, and he kept it. So I missed out on that one, but it's okay. I did grab this off the wall. This is one that I never see in record stores. Inspiration Information by Shuggy Otis, and it is a very clean copy. Yeah. Really happy that that was available. Shuggy Otis, Inspiration Information. Good day. It was a good day. Good finds. I'm gonna try and be quicker with some more videos here. I do need to. It is now October, so I guess I need to do another kind of update on new releases that I bought over the year. Yeah, just, you know, I have some other things that I want to talk about. Record collecting's still fun to me. And yeah. Anyway, like I said earlier, links in the description. Please do what you can to help people anywhere, you know. And hope you're doing well. All right, later.
Digital gramophone makes no sense.